That morning, the sound was deafening, metal against concrete. A screech that tore through the quiet like a scream. Her white BMW spun sideways, steam hissing from the hood, fluids leaking into the grass she'd spent months destroying. Karen, president of the Maple Grove Homeowners Association, stumbled out of her luxury SUV, face red, voice shaking with rage, and all I could think was, finally, physics had done what reason couldn't. My name's Ethan Cole, 52, retired electrician, spent 3 decades wiring up power grids, learning one thing above all: anything built right stays right. I bought this corner lot in Maple Grove as my little paradise. My wife, Laura, was battling early Parkinson's, and that lawn, that perfect sea of green, was meant to be her peace. I spent months designing the irrigation, wiring every light, cutting every inch myself. It wasn't just grass, it was sanity. It was healing. Until Karen decided my yard was her shortcut. Picture this: 7:40, 7 every morning. Her white BMW comes flying around the corner, straight across my lawn, to shave off 30 seconds of her route. The tires ripped through the soil like claws, dirt spraying, grass shredded, exhaust stinking up my porch. First time, I told myself, mistake. Second time, I left a sign. Third time, I set up a camera. The footage didn't lie. She wasn't just driving through, she was aiming for it. Like my property was some kind of personal lane for her royal commute. So, I walked over one morning, tried to talk like neighbors do. I said, "Excuse me, Mrs. Whitfield, you've been cutting across my property. I just seeded the lawn. Could you please?" She didn't even look up from her flower bed. "Maybe don't plant so close to the road if you can't handle traffic," she said. That smirk, I swear, it could curdle milk. When I told her I had survey stakes proving it was mine, she turned, tilted her sunglasses down, and whispered, "Be careful, Mr. Cole. My husband built this neighborhood. I run this HOA. People who make problems for me usually regret it." And just like that, she walked away, leaving me there, fists clenched, jaw tight, watching her manicured heels click up her driveway like the sound of power mocking me. The next week, every day, she did it again. My corner turned into her personal speedway. Then came the letter. HOA violation. Unauthorized lighting system disturbing neighborhood tranquility. Signed, of course, by Karen Whitfield, HOA president. I'd had enough. I'm not a man who fights with words. I fix things. I engineer them. So I went to work the way I know best. Saturday morning, I installed 8 motion-activated floodlights along my property line, code compliant, low voltage, clean as a hospital install. Sunday night, I tested the system. Monday morning, 7:47, right on schedule. Karen's BMW tore around the corner, and the second her tires hit my grass, boom! 8,000 lumens lit her windshield like a damn stadium. The squeal of her brakes was sweeter than my coffee. She sat there for a minute, blinded, fuming. Then she gunned it through anyway, horn blaring. By Tuesday, the neighborhood was watching her meltdown every morning like it was a show. Wednesday, she filed another HOA complaint, this time, light pollution. But I wasn't done. Thursday night, my security app pinged, motion detected. I pulled up the camera feed, and there she was, Karen, in black clothes, a flashlight in hand, stomping across my yard like some suburban ninja. kicking over my lights one by one. But the best part? I'd wired a backup battery system, cameras still rolling, catching everything in full HD. Next morning, I found an envelope in my mailbox, a $12,200 city fine for unpermitted electrical installations, signed by a code officer named David Morrison, the same David who, rumor had it, played golf with Karen's husband every weekend. The smell of corruption hit me before I even finished reading. That night, Laura sat beside me at the kitchen table. Her hands trembled slightly, voice quiet. "Ethan, maybe just let it go. We can replant the lawn." I looked at her, and for a moment, I thought maybe she was right. Maybe I was too old for this crap. Maybe I should just pay the fine. Let the queen of the Clos de Sac have her shortcut. I stared out the window, the lawn torn to mud, the sprinklers broken, and something in me cracked. No, if I let her win now, she'll walk all over everyone else. 2. That's when things shifted. My insurance adjuster came out to assess the vandalism. Halfway through his inspection, he frowned at my corner stakes. "Mr. Cole," he said, "you might want to have that re-surveyed. Those boundaries look off." That night, I barely slept. The next morning, I called an old buddy, Pete, a surveyor who owed me a favor from back in our construction days. By Wednesday, he was out here with his laser gear, measuring every inch. He came back shaking his head, saying, "Ethan, she's been trespassing 18 feet into your land. And get this, that fancy retaining wall of hers, 4 feet over the line, illegal as hell." I felt electricity buzz under my skin. 18 feet. That wasn't a mistake, that was theft. I walked over that evening, survey report in hand. Karen was trimming her roses. "Mrs. Whitfield," I said, "this report shows your wall and your driveway both sit on my property." She turned, lips curling into a smile that could cut glass. "You poor man. My husband built this neighborhood. If you want to keep your little patch of dirt, I'd suggest you stay quiet, or life might get very difficult." That was it. No more warnings. I called my lawyer. I called my union buddy. And I started designing something permanent. A week later, after checking every regulation, I ordered a decorative concrete bollard, 40, 2 inches tall, 5 feet deep, reinforced rebar core, set exactly 8 inches inside my boundary. A legal landscaping feature, a beautifully engineered one. When installation day came, I stood there watching the concrete pour, thick, gray, solid, like a promise. I even added a little bronze plaque. Maple Grove Memorial Garden, established 2024. Looked innocent enough. Then I waited. Monday morning, 7:47. I was at my window, coffee in hand, watching physics prepare to do its job. The white BMW came flying around the corner, same speed, same arrogance, and then crash. The front wheel hit that bollard dead on. Metal screamed, rubber popped. The whole car lurched sideways. I walked outside calmly, coffee still steaming. "Morning, Mrs. Whitfield. That's a decorative feature. On my land." Her eyes were wild. "You set a trap! You tried to kill me!" 8 inches inside my property, I said, holding up the survey. "Legally installed. Maybe try the public road next time." When the police arrived, Officer Rodriguez took one look, measured the line, and said, "Ma'am, this is private property. You were trespassing." Her face went from red to white in seconds. She started yelling into her phone, calling her husband, demanding he come fix this. All we could hear through the speaker was, "Jesus, Karen, I'm under investigation. Handle it yourself." That silence afterward, it was better than victory, but she didn't stop. A few days later, I noticed a yellow excavator rolling down the street. Big machine, unmarked. City crew written in faded paint. Karen was marching behind it in boots and designer sunglasses, shouting orders. I called every utility company in town. Gas, water, power, none of them had work scheduled. So I hit record on my phone and waited. The excavator started digging right next to my bollard. Karen was pointing, saying, "Make it look like a gas leak, quick!" That's when I dialed 911. Cops showed up in minutes. Officer Martinez stepped out, hands on hips. "Ma'am, you got a permit for this work?" Karen blinked. "This is emergency utility repair." "Which utility company?" She froze. Couldn't answer. Then the operator of the excavator, bless his terrified soul, pulled out his phone and said, "I've got the messages." She offered me 10 grand to accidentally hit the concrete. Her voice played clear through the speaker. "I don't care if it's illegal. I want that thing gone." The click of handcuffs was the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. Fraud, vandalism, impersonating a city worker, bribery. She was done. But the story didn't end there, because when her husband Derek tried to pull strings to get her released, investigators found something bigger. Dozens of altered property surveys across the county, all linked to his company, all benefiting the Whitfields. They'd been stealing land for years, inch by inch, under HOA cover. A month later, there was a public hearing. Karen showed up with lawyers, perfume thick as smoke, claiming I'd harassed her. My attorney, Sarah Kim, quietly handed over the evidence, camera footage, survey reports, the bribery recording. Halfway through the hearing, an FBI agent stepped up. "Mrs. Whitfield," she said, "you and your husband are under federal investigation for property fraud and municipal corruption." I swear. Watching Karen's face drain of color was better than any paycheck I've ever earned. The same woman who'd told me she ran this neighborhood could barely stand as they escorted her out in cuffs. When it was over, the council chair banged the gavel. "All fines against Mr. Cole are dismissed. His property is his alone." And just like that, silence. She didn't scream this time, didn't curse, just glared at me as she walked past, her heels echoing on the tile, every step smaller than the last. It's been 6 months now. The Whitfields' mansion's for sale. No takers yet. Derek's construction license got revoked. And Karen, she's facing federal charges. The bollard still stands at my corner, gray, unshakable, surrounded by the greenest grass in the neighborhood. Sometimes, neighbors walk by and smile, some of them wave, and every now and then, I catch my reflection in that bronze plaque and think about how close I came to giving up. Turns out, when you build something on a solid foundation, whether it's concrete or conviction, no bully, no HOA, no entitled neighbor can tear it down. Lesson learned. Some fights aren't about winning. They're about refusing to be stepped on ever again.